Hey everybody, I'm Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network, and I want to welcome you to the latest installment of our newest series called 3 Minutes to Better Tattooing, where in 3 minutes or less, we hope, we try to give you some little nugget that you can plug into your tattoo process. But before we get started, I want to thank my friends at TattooSEO.com. My buddy Tony Sink over there is a search engine optimization guru. What they do at Tattoo SEO is they find people in your area, in your town, who are looking for the type of work that you do, and they build a little bridge in between the two of you. They make that introduction. So click the link below to learn more about Tattoo SEO and what they can do for you. Now let's jump on into the episode because we only have 3 minutes. So I'd like to talk today about cover-ups. We've done several episodes on cover-ups lately, and they seem to be well received, and we're getting a lot of feedback. And there are really 2 points that I want to make here. First off, unless the cover-up is incredibly simple, I always set the tone early on with my clients by telling them it is going to be a minimum of 2 sessions. And the reason for that is I'm not necessarily trying to cover the tattoo up, meaning saturate ink over the old ink in the first session. In the first session, I'm mainly just trying to disrupt the old tattoo so that it makes it harder to see. And I do that, and in this example, I'm working on an iron cross. I do that not by saturating over the top of the tattoo, but by disrupting the edges. I work mostly on the edges. Now, this approach applies best to things like solid black work, tribal, an iron cross, something like this that I'm working on now, or sometimes lettering, bold lettering. If I can just disrupt those edges, so if I can just make this thing look less like a cross, I don't necessarily want to cover the old blacks that are in the existing cross, because once this thing comes back in the second sitting, I've disrupted the shape enough that I may be able to use some of those old colors, some of that old dingy black. I might be able to manipulate it so that the whole cover-up doesn't have to be so dark. So in this example here, you can see in my original mock-up drawing that I'm trying to use an American flag and the folds of an American flag to cover up the cross. Now, picture if I go through and I just saturate that area and I make it look like it's a deep recess of the fold of fabric right where the cross sits. Well, that area would be surrounded by these stars, and then you would have this dense area with no stars. So it might cover the old cross, but it's going to look like a cover-up and it'll be disruptive. Chances are it would be overly dark and dense in that area, and it wouldn't look like it belongs in the folds of the fabric. If, on the other hand, in this first session, I go through and I disrupt the edges of the cross and I leave the inside of the cross, that kind of dingy old ink that was already there, there's a great chance whenever I come back through that I'll be able to hint or kind of ghost in some of those stars right on top of the old cross, because I'm saturating newer and darker blacks around it. And then I can give the illusion that some of those stars kind of fall back into those recesses, and I can hint at those. And it may mean that I have to darken some of my stars that are outside of the cover-up area to kind of match, so that the stars slowly go from a darker to a lighter, and then maybe make a turn. You've got the full skin tone light of a star here, and maybe a 40% gray here, maybe a 60% gray inside of the cover-up. But the fact being, if I can work those stars all the way in on top of the cover-up, there's a much better chance that I can make that cover-up almost unnoticeable and far more effective than just saturating it with a dark black and trying to cover the cross in my first sitting. I hope that helps. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, this is a tattoo that I've just started, so I don't have a lot of progress on it, but I'll continue to post progress on this piece. It's one that I think will be helpful. I'm going to video the entire sleeve. It is a full sleeve. And something else interesting about this sleeve is I'm using for the first time Empire's whitewash series. So there's a few drops of white in the black ink, which gives it a very slight opacity. It's been pretty interesting to work with so far. But make sure you're subscribed so you can stay up to date when we post more videos on this series or on this tattoo in particular. Thank you so much for supporting what we do, and we'll see you next time.